Hey Sumit, good morning. Ramanand here. Able to hear me?
Hey, good morning, Marish. Yes, I can hear you guys. Can you hear me? Like, am I audible properly?
Yeah, you're audible properly. So we'll wait for another 3 minutes, Sumit.
Sure.
I can see the learners joining. So at three, you can start off with the session. You can introduce
Perfect.
yourself formally and then you can take over the session.
Sure. Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Sumit. Hey Sumit, Ramanand here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can start off. You can start off with an introduction, and then you can present your screen and take it over.
Okay, cool. Perfect.
Thanks,
Uh,
Sumit.
yeah. Mm, this- Okay, so good morning, guys. This is Sumit. Uh, uh, I'll quickly probably introduce about myself first. Okay, so I've been working in analytics and data science for around 8 years now. Okay, I graduated from IIIT Allahabad. Post that, I directly started working with New Sigma. It's a decision sciences company based out of Bangalore. So there, I worked with multiple clients, which were Fortune 500 clients, big pharmaceutical giants, and also uh, big e-commerce companies like Walmart's and stuff. So my role was initially to act as a sort of analytics consultant and help these guys with all sort of analytics requirements. These requirements can be of various forms. It can be quick ad hocs, it can be dashboards, it can be a data science problem, it can be modeling, right? It can be simple data crunching as well. So worked there in New Sigma for a couple of years. I was interested in very much in startups and wanted to learn how things work. So I moved to housing.com back then and started owning sort of a few pieces of uh, rental agreement and home loans analytics for the housing.com. Then I worked with Simple Pay. So Simple Pay was very interesting for me. It was a sort of very early stage startup, and where idea was to basically build a credit product, sort of buy now pay later product for the new generation. So we do have uh, credit cards in the world, right? The idea of this product was to build something which is very convenient for customers, and it's specifically made for the online customers. So let's say you are a Zomato or a Book My Show customer, you will probably go there, add tickets or anything in your cart, and then at the payment options, you will see simple pay as option. You can click on it, your transaction is done. Now, this was the product, but at the back end of it, there's a whole engine of data science or the intelligence which is running behind and helping simple in making the right decisions, probably the more accurate decisions around whom we should give the credit and whom we should not give the credit. And if we are giving the credit, then what should be the amount of that credit, considering the various features of the customers. So that was around data science problem statements. And then I have also worked with various business stakeholders there to define uh, uh, metrics for the company, build BI dashboards, set up the pipelines. So yeah, that was really diverse experience which I got at Simple, and it was very interesting as well. So yeah, I mean, post that I worked with Browser Stack for a couple of years. In Browser Stack, I was working very closely with online sales department, which basically takes care of I would say from the top of the funnel, which is getting users to the website, then converting them, which is like sort of funnel optimization, and also focusing on marketing and product aspects of it. So I was working with these teams to help them with different analytical projects which will be there, and uh, help them basically take any of those decisions which they are taking around marketing, product, and everything in a more intelligent way with the help of data. So yeah, so that was there for like couple of years. Recently, I've joined MPL as an AVP data analytics, and here I am sort of owning completely product analytics piece of it. Product by product analytics, I mean it will be uh, generally helping the company in general figure out what is happening with the product, how users are interacting with the product, should we intervene and make changes at multiple places, or uh, how is in general our product performance, right? So basically setting up the complete analytics from the scratch, which helps us in determining first that what is stage of our analytics, and then also figuring out if there is something wrong, where we can intervene and build few more intelligent systems in place. So yeah, that's where I'm. And Just give me a minute. I hope you guys can hear me, right, Naresh? Hello.
Yes, yes, we can hear you.
Yes,
Okay,
Sumit,
okay,
we can hear
awesome,
you.
awesome. Cool. So I'll continue from here. Yeah, so I think the idea of this interaction is probably first is to sort of introduce you guys to the challenge or the use case which Greatham is presenting you, and I'll also share my thoughts around that how you should generally approach a problem, right? Problem statement giving in a space, what you should probably think uh, before approaching that and while approaching it, and also how should you conclude it. uh, I would not discuss like very much specifics of it, like how do you code and all those things. We'll generally take that problem statement and try to understand it from the business perspective, how it's being dealt in the business. So I'll probably take few cases or things which I have experienced in the past while dealing with various business stakeholders or the product stakeholders in the various companies, and we'll try to give you guys a set of like few set of examples, and we'll try to take you through them, like how did I navigate there and how generally the navigation happens there. So yeah. Uh, so yeah, I mean, talking about the problem statement, which will be given to you guys. So it's around again the credit industry. So here we are talking about a bank uh, who is trying to understand that how will their customer behave in terms of their spends in coming 3 months. So why will they? So first, try to understand why will they want to do this, right? Why will they want to understand this? Why is this even a problem for them? So whenever uh, there's a marketing camp, or just think about a scenario, right? So uh, there's this bank, right? HDFC Bank, and they have huge set of customers. Now they are launching a campaign where they would want to probably incentivize the customers uh, who are actually maybe in top tiers, right? They are launching a coupon for let's say a really premium hotel stay, right? So now instead of them going ahead and targeting everyone randomly in their set of customers, they would want to first figure out, okay, how their customers are behaving from the system, and also be able to predict at one point of time that how their customers will be behaving in the next 3 months. If their spends are, let's say, probably higher, you would probably want to go ahead and target them. So that's one of the use cases in which something like bank can go ahead and target the customers in such way. So here, I think for this problem statement, you guys will be given obviously the training set and the test data set. Data dictionary is provided to you guys, where I hope you guys completely understand what data dictionary means. So it's essentially for all the features. You will get what that features mean. So you will be able to go ahead, figure out from the that dictionary and understand each and every feature. That How should you even deal with that? If that is even important, or if that is even making sense in context uh, there. So now, and also for the problem statement which you'll be solving, relation metric is kept root mean square logarithmic error, and I think the deadline is around 48 hours for this. Uh, these train and data set and data dictionary, I think Grey Atom will share you guys, which you will be you guys will be receiving over the mail or the in separate content. Yeah. So coming to the objective of this assignment, right? So first is testing your coding capabilities. So yeah, I mean, I would want to generally uh, will try to explain how important is this, right? So we generally think that okay, maybe data science doesn't require a lot of uh, uh, coding in terms of heavy coding, in terms of oops and all those things. But uh, what we should understand very importantly is like more more stronger you are in those capabilities, uh, the lifting that you'll do will be easier for you. So think of it in these terms, right? So when, let's say, you have been given a machine learning algorithm to implement, or you are trying to implement this given problem statement, you don't want to basically get stuck in every place and go and Google and try to figure out what are the technical capabilities, what is basically subsetting, how do you subset the data. So you don't want to do that at the middle of the problem statement. You would want to basically have all that context before and be good at it. So that if you have a thought process or a logic in your mind, you should be able to implement it. So that's very important. Your comfort with the programming should be that much that you don't have to Google again and again. Obviously, if you are stuck for some of the things, you should be going there, definitely. But for, I would say, for 80 to 90% of the things, you should be able to do it by yourself. And that basically helps you in maintaining the flow in the problem solving and focus on the right things at the right time. So yeah, that's very important part of it. And these tests will all basically uh, judge you on your coding capabilities. Coming to the machine learning skills, obviously when you are trying to implement a machine learning problem, have the solid understanding of what machine learning means. How do you, in by machine learning I mean understand the complete structure of the machine learning problem, right? How do you start the problem, how do you approach that problem end to end, okay, and reach to the conclusion, right? So if you talk about a sort of basically an art of problem solving, right? So when a problem statement is given to you, right, you should not just jump ahead and try to like dig into the data and start solving it. Spend your time on it, okay. So uh, take the problem statement, sit with it, try to understand what it actually means, break down the problem, right? And ask more about the problem statement if you are not sure what does that mean. I'll probably give you a very uh, uh, like practical scenario what happens in general, right? So let's say for me, probably a product manager or AVP of product can come to me and they can simply ask me, dude, can you just figure out the sales dip? Now, this is a very vague problem which he has given me. Like, first is like which sales dip he's talking about, right? If he's talking about a particular product sales dip, then of which region or what is he exactly talking about, right? So you have to first understand the problem statement completely, that what is stakeholder asking for or what that problem statement is demanding from you. Then only you will be able to move in the right direction and solve the things in the right direction. So that's very important. Now once you basically understand that problem statement, right, you have to basically uh, when so at the end, whenever you are trying to solve a problem, your basic objective is to help the business, right? So everything output of your analysis has to connect with the business. That's very critical when we try to deliver anything across like data science or analytics. So think about a simple project, right? uh, which is probably uh, let's say figuring out how many uh, users are coming on the website, right? In a particular time frame. Now there are multiple ways to approach this problem. Someone can build probably a very simple counting algorithm to do that, and someone can go ahead and do that by implementing deep learning and all those things and taking a lot of time, right? But think about the output. At the end, the output is that business wants to understand how many users are coming, uh, and by knowing that, they will be want like they will want to take few actions and want to increase their revenue. So maybe getting to the basically number in a less accurately way is also fine for them, right? Because its accuracy is not important there. Probably it's just a number which is required at that point of time uh, to basically figure out the plans for them. So what I'm trying to say eventually here is that whatever we are trying to solve, you should always try to think that what insights you are going to deliver from here. If your analysis is reaching to a place where you are just able to give, let's say, few numbers, or you are able to show some graphs, or telling these things about think customers, but you are not able to conclusively tell the story, then it's just the waste of time for yours as well as for your business stakeholders. Your every analysis and your every problem statement which you are working on, even like whatever you are approaching with the machine learning or the descriptive analysis, it should end with a insight, and there should be a story to it, which your stakeholder is taking away from the discussion, right? And obviously, the main objective is to, let's say, generate revenue for the customers. They should be able to derive from your insight, okay, what is actionable for them, right? So I would say, yeah, that's very important part. So now think about the plan of action for this challenge. So obviously this is a constrained problem statement which is being given to you guys. So you don't have infinite time. You would want to, when this problem statement is given, you want to basically strategize and plan that what do you want to do with this time, right? Whenever there is a problem statement, a machine learning problem statement, and the data is given to you, we all know that cleaning the data, understanding, that takes the most of the time, and you should spend most of the time there, right? Because if you don't understand that part, you don't know basically nothing about the business or the data. So that's very critical. You have to spend majority of the time, probably 60-70% of the time, or 60 to 80% of the time, in basically just the first step, which is data understanding, cleaning, wrangling, and getting the business insights. Then you reach to a state of modeling and deployment. That's, I would say, is a easy part. People always talk about building the models, fancy models and stuff, but that's the most easiest part of building the model, because it's just few technicalities eventually you are dealing with, right? And uh, these things are easy, but deriving the insights is the difficult part. This will probably take yours maybe 20 to 30% of the time. 20% is enough, I would say, and the presentation will take probably, I think, 10% of the time. So yeah, when, let's say, you are in the first stage of the problem where you are trying to understand the data and try to do the cleaning, wrangling, and things, have your plan ready there, that how much time you are gonna spend at each and every stage, okay, and stick to it. Okay, don't move from that plan, because if you are uh, taking liberty at any of these stages, it will basically screw up your next stages, right? So you have to be sticking to your plan, and you have to be moving ahead with whatever insights you have derived at some point of time. Cool. So yeah, I think this is pretty much also I spoke about that data understanding and cleaning part, which is the very first part, will generally take your 30 to 40% of your time, right? So how do you understand the data? So just try to understand this basic part first, right? So one thing is, you have been given, let's say, some random data set as of now, right, which you don't understand completely, and you have been also given the data dictionary. Before even going to that, sit with the problem statement, okay, uh, understand that. Don't leave the problem statement till you have got the in-depth understanding from it, that what is it asking. Once you have achieved that, okay, I know completely and I have internalized that, okay, this is what my problem is asking from me, then you open your data dictionary. Okay, and you can also open some part of your trained data set, or probably import it in a Python and look at the head values, or look at the summaries, right? Look at the data dictionary, look at the data and try to see what this data dictionary is telling about the columns. Okay, so if let's say if, just for an example, let's say there's a session time, which is a column, let's say it's given. So now what does that session time mean? Is it of a particular session? Is it of a particular session when user has came to the website, or is it combining the multiple sessions? So you need to understand that, right? To get that understanding, you have to go to the data dictionary, read it out, internalize it, and have the idea of it, what this data is going to talk about. Then once you basically import your data, you start looking at the data, you would want to see and basically sanitize your data, right? Do the data cleaning part, which is not very interesting part of the data science work, but it's very important and very critical, uh, that you deal with any sort of irregularities in the data. By irregularities, I mean there will be obviously missing data points. You will see at multiple places. So there's an interesting theory with the missing data, that uh, whenever there is a missing data, right? Sometimes it's a problem. Sometimes it can be that's not actually the problem, right? Uh, Basically, missing data. So you guys would have obviously gone through few methods of. I'm assuming that you would have gone through the methods of treating the missing values, right? Sometimes you go ahead and delete those values. Sometimes you go ahead and refill those values. Now, taking that decision of refilling or deleting those values makes and breaks a problem statement also. So approach it completely defines sometimes that what is your output going to look like. So that's very critical part of it, and you guys will have to do that very diligently. uh, Now coming to the other data issues, which is probably format issues. There will be few strings in the integer column, so how do you deal with that? Case differences and all these issues. So you guys probably build a quick function, or use few libraries to figure out all the data irregularities, clean the data, and reach to a state where you would want to, uh, where you are confident that, okay, now this data is good, right? I would want to understand what this data is telling me. Okay, now you have reached to a state where you would want to do sort of descriptive analysis on that. Look at the descriptive statistics number. How does my features look like in terms of trends across the timelines? What is probably the correlation between the features, right? Try to understand, play with the data, try to understand what is happening around, try to note down your observations. So just only, like, you should not only spend time on basically looking at things. Whatever interesting things you are getting, just keep a note of that. These points will be very important in future when you will be building your own feature selection, or when you will be building more features for your problem. So just keep on writing your interesting observations from the data, try to understand it more, spend good time on it, and then move to the next part. So this is around data wrangling and business insights. So yeah, so once you have fair understanding of your data, you have looked through data, now you know that your data is clean. You have also few statistics around where you understand, let's say revenue is a column, amount is a column. You understand where does those values range, right? How does my revenue look in general? So now you have few things in your mind. Now you understand at a sort of like very high level that what this data is telling me, or what these features are telling me. Now you can sit here, look back the problem statement, look at your data, and now try to build your hypothesis from here. Okay, so let's say I'll give you a quick example, probably which I have also explained you guys briefly uh, when I was working at Simple. So let's say I was building a credit model for the company, right? So now by credit model, I mean that I would want to basically flag the users who are not credit worthy and will also want to know about the customers who are credit worthy and will want to give them the credit. So now this is a very simple problem statement. Now, one way to do this is, so I mean, so here, if I ideally go with this approach where I have been given the data dictionary in the data, what I would do here is I would look at my data. I look at the various things. Let's say I have age of the customer. I have probably the salary of the customer. I know which city he belongs. So I can now see from these features and make few hypotheses in my mind. If someone is probably from a uh, let's say high income group, right? uh, High is vague here as of now, we have not defined it yet, but let's say we are talking about if someone is uh, of the salary of more than 50,000, he's more credit worthy as compared to someone who is less than that. So now this is a hypothesis which I have just built. Now in this way I will keep on writing my hypothesis from the data which I have received, right? Once I reach to a state that I feel a bit confident about these hypotheses, that these are enough in number to probably give me insight around what is happening in the data, I would want to go ahead and try to validate each and every hypothesis and see how is it responding from my business. So the very example which I gave you, uh, that someone who is having the income of probably more than 50,000 is more credit worthy here. So I would want to go ahead and test this from the data and validate it if this is actually happening or not, right? Once this is happening, I would say, okay, this is something which makes sense. This is going ahead and telling me that there is some correlation. I can use this as a feature for my model, okay? And I can also derive few insights from it directly, okay? That let's say when I'm analyzing this feature, I figure out, okay, maybe 50,000 is not the cutoff, right? Maybe something else, 1 lakh is the cutoff where I can probably see the inflection point of being credit worthy or not. Or maybe there's no cutoff for it, right? It just maybe just credit worthiness increases in a linear way, as in more and more my salary increases. So these are few insights which you will derive when you will play with this data, right? So this you will do for all the features. You will do you can combine few features and also look at the data, that how is it all making sense, and is it giving you any business insights, right? Is it telling me something about the business? So keep on writing those things, keep the note of those things. These things will become very important again when you will build your features at the last, or when you will reach to a basically a state where you will want to combine multiple features and build the more enriched features. uh, these things will become very important there. Cool. Let's go to the next part, which is obviously model building and deployment part. So now you have hypothesis. Now you have reached to a state where you understand the data and the business. Now you can go ahead and uh, now you can probably combine those features and also generate more important features, right? So let's say, just to give an example what I'm trying to say here, so let's say in the data you have been given um, uh, distance a customer is traveling or something like that, or one thing is, so we are, let's say, probably dealing with entirely different problem statement where somehow speed of a cab is important. Okay, now let's say you have been given distance and you have been given time of a journeys here. Okay, so now deriving speed from this distance upon time is an important feature, which will give you basically more relevance in the model. So now what you are doing essentially here is you are deriving a third feature from these two features, right? You are using distance, you are using time, and you are building the third feature, which is more relevant to your business problem here. And when you use this feature, this will probably be the more important, will be contributing more to your model, and will give you better results. So that's where I would say the main uh, part or the main creativity of a data science comes into the play, that you are not just dumbly taking the data and putting it in some model and getting the outputs. You are thinking about the features, you are thinking about the problem statement, that does this even make sense? Should I combine multiple features here and try to build a new feature which will be even more relevant? So this is the beauty of this field, right? That you don't just deal with uh, technical aspects of it. You get the chance to basically put your creativity in it, build your interesting features, build, then iterate and build the model. And you will always be able to check that is that even improving your model or not. Uh, so yeah, so yeah, this model building exercise will probably take your, again, 30% of your time. Uh, After you have got the understanding and you have sort of prepared the data, you will start working on building out the model. Probably you will use scikit-learn or other libraries in R to build these models. You build the basic model. You start tuning the parameters which are there, right? Hyperparameters for the model. You um, Using different methodologies, you will try to tune the parameters. You will try to reach a state where you are getting probably the more accuracies. You will try to understand the features. Again, uh, features are very and the most critical part of the model building. Okay. uh, Feature importances play a very important role there. So let's say you have got to a state where you have 50 features uh, from the model, and you are simply building the model out of that, and then you are trying to deploy it in production. Now think about this. If I have a use case where I want to basically build a real-time model, okay, now I would now what I'm getting from here is, let's say, probably 50, or in many scenarios there are 500 or 5,000 features as well. So instead of me trying to evaluate each and every feature and try to feed it in the model, which will become so complex and be computationally heavy that it will take so much of the resources to be at the real time, I would want to basically, ideally, I would want to feed few less features in the model so that it is less computationally expensive, and also it's giving me quick results. It's easy to deploy, everything. So ideally, you would want less features in the model to go and give the most accurate, obviously it gives me higher accuracy, or accuracies on which I can probably compromise on. Uh, so that's where I think feature importances helps you. Let's say you have 50 features, you will look at the feature importances, how these features are uh, like showing the importances for my target. You would want to probably select the important features. You would want to remove few remove the unimportant features from the model, and then again try to feed it in the model and try to run it again, and reiterate in this process of building the more better and better model, right? So always have this in mind. So for the competitions and all, it's fine that you would want to achieve to accuracy is the goal, and you would want to probably include lot and lot more features. But when we deal in the real life scenarios or the real world scenarios in the companies or in the projects, uh, you don't just want in basically in lot of problem statements, you just don't want the accuracy part as in you will want to take care of lot of other things as well, which is probably consuming the less resources, right? Making the model live uh, with less resources is very important. So you would want to consider that. That's where I think these things come into the play, like feature importances play a very important role there, and helps you in coming down to few set of features. be able to build the intelligent model from there and deploy it in the production. And yeah, obviously coming to the deployment part, you have multiple ways to do it. AWS, Azure, there are multiple APIs to do it. Uh, at Simple, what we try to do, we try to basically deploy our model in AWS in different EC2 clusters and stuff. And we always had a UI which was built on Airflow, which will show us that how our models are progressing, right? So that you know uh, that where at what stage of the model you are in whenever they are running, and if there are any errors you will get the triggers. So yeah, this is probably the less relevant part here for you guys as of now, because building the model and reaching to the final state is more critical there first. And deployment is also there'll be data engineers also you will be who will be helping you with the deployment part. So this is probably uh, something which you should worry about less. So yeah. So once probably you have built out your model, now you understand what are your features. Now you also understand what are probably that's your top features which are contributing to the model, right? And how these features behave. You would want to uh, uh, basically put that in presentation, right? So whatever you are building, uh, that is only important when you are able to basically deliver those insights or deliver those takeaways in the right way to the business stakeholders, right? So that's very critical, that you should know how to present your insights. You should know how to put whatever you want to say in the right way and in the crisp way, how and so that someone who will be consuming that slide, or someone who will be trying to take few takeaways from there, is able to do it in a quick manner, right? So that's very important there. And few things that obviously you would want to cover is the data insights or the business insights that you have got from here, from the various features that you have tested, from the model that you have built. What were your key takeaways in terms of data, in terms of business insights, right? Uh, what models have you used or you have tried, and what sort of performances they are given, and then eventually which model you are using finally, right? What all evaluation matrices you have used, okay, and what is the performance across those metrics. You would want to show that also in the presentation, right? And at the last but not the least is very important, which is are you able to determine the other business problems as well, or did you find anything interesting from this exercise? So I'll probably give you an example here that let's say we are building a model, right? And a feature is, let's say there's a for this credit model, city is a feature. So maybe I had a hypothesis which had said that someone coming from Hyderabad is more credit worthy and will pay the bills within 15 days. Okay, now that's something which I want to test. Okay, but while I'll be testing this, I'll be probably looking at few other cities as well, and I'll be also looking at how users are performing across those cities. So let's say Hyderabad is performing good, but let's say Bangalore is not performing good. So from here, I figured out, okay, there is a problem, right? And which needs to be solved. So in this way, when you will look at the data, you will figure out that, okay, this is something which is not going in the right direction. And this comes down as another new business problem for the team, right? And you have identified those, and you would want to basically uh, uh, take those problem statements and uh, work on that maybe later on, right? So this is also critical, that besides the insights, what more you can derive from there. Uh, so coming to the expectation versus reality part, right? So when you will be working through this problem statement, Although you guys have done your learnings, you guys have reached to a state where you feel confident about building any model or confident about solving any analytical problem. Uh, this will definitely help you guys in determining that what is your current level, right? Where are you guys standing? Uh, are you actually prepared for these sort of challenges, right? uh, you should always try to note and mark from you that from this exercise, what were your pre-expectations from this exercise? That did you thought that like you are really good now after the doing the exercise? What do you think? What are the stages that you should work on, right? You will figure out, okay, probably you always thought that you are good at model building, and you are good at optimizing the parameters, but you struggled so much here, right? So you would want to take those points from here, okay, and you would want to iterate on that, learn again more from those points, and try to figure out your weaknesses and try to work on those. uh, and obviously, we all obviously know that uh, practice makes a man perfect, right? So you guys will keep on taking more and more challenges, and as in like you will work on more and more challenges, your discoveries will become basically you will discover less of things eventually, right? That's when you will reach to a state where you are becoming more better at the things, uh, that now you know probably more of the things, and you have reached to a state that you are getting less discoveries, you are having more understanding of the problem. uh, so yeah, hello. Okay, sorry, just cool. So yeah, coming to the next. Cool. So I think this is what I had, guys, right? Uh, Around basically telling you guys around how it works generally in the industry, and also how you guys should approach the problem, right? And how you will basically try to deliver these things to the various business stakeholders. So yeah, I mean, I'll open this forum probably for the questions that you guys have, and we'll have enough time to take the questions, and we'll basically try to answer those, and have understanding from you guys also, like what you guys think about the problem statements which are there, right? And uh, whatever you want to understand more about it. So yeah, shoot your questions, please.
Yeah, hello, Sumit.
Yeah,
Yeah, can you hear me?
yeah,
Yeah. Good
yeah, I
morning.
can.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. So I have one question here. Like in the
Hey, yeah.
previous slide, you mentioned that ask for the feedback and that stuff. So do you mean that for the interviewer or the HR we should ask for the feedback? It's like I did not get from where we can get the feedback actually about our interview, like where we were lagging or what did they did not like about us because of which we got rejected, something like that.
Hey, sorry, I didn't get your question. Actually, there's a lot of background noise. So can you
Is it better now?
probably? I think it's a bit better. Yeah, please go ahead.
So, in your last slide, I think that is 11 number
Yeah.
slide, right? Slide number 11.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned
Yeah.
ask for the feedback and improve the last point, right?
Yeah.
What do you mean by this? I mean, from where we can get the feedback about our interview, or like from HR or someone else, or it is a good thing to ask
Yeah.
them
So
for feedback after that, like, yeah, go ahead,
yeah.
go ahead.
So let's say you are. Yeah. 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 I'll try to take that point. Uh, so this is around in general. So when you will try to give the interviews, right? Uh, now, no one is expecting you to basically get through the interviews in a one go, right? Every interview will leave you with few learnings that you will go, and that's sort of an estimate that you probably take an average of 4 interviews to crack one successfully, right? So whenever you are giving an interview in a company, right? So company will shy away from giving the feedback. They, like most of the companies, have no process around giving the feedbacks. So definitely you are at the point that you should connect to the HR of the company, and you should basically push them to get back come back with the feedback for you, because you have invested your significant amount of time in the process, right? And you would want to understand what actually went wrong when you are being rejected from the process. So HR generally helps you in getting those feedback from the person who have taken your interview, right? And that feedback is very critical. That will actually help you in improving. And I think what you can also do as a process is, maybe when you are giving the interviews, right, at the end, most of the interviewers will give you some time to ask you the questions. Okay, that they'll open the floor and they'll ask you guys can go ahead, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. Once you are through with, like, let's say, top questions, uh, by the way, that's very critical part, guys. So if you are giving the interviews, you should have done like thorough research on the role and the company, and you should always have the questions to ask. So whenever I also do the hiring and I also interview people, this that gives me the understanding, okay, that guy is even interested in the job, right? He has few questions about the job. If you are going ahead and saying, okay, you have no questions, then that's a really sorry, that's a really one of the very negative points which come out to the interviewers. So yeah, I mean, interviewer will eventually know that what he is like, what are the negative points, and you should try to derive from that interviewer. Also, at the end, you can ask probably the question, would you like to share some feedback on me? So if he is open to it, he'll probably quickly share the interviews. If they are not, then they'll probably pass on to HR, and HR will deliver to you. So yeah,
Yeah, got it, got it. Thank you so much.
cool.
Hi Sumit, Chitranjan here.
Yeah, yeah.
So, not as actually a question, but most
Mhm.
of the people are like very new to the data science here. And
Yeah.
I just wanted to share one interview experience I
Mhm.
had like 1 month ago for the associate
Okay.
data scientist. And
Okay.
what were the drawbacks and what were the learnings I got from it. And maybe you can add it to it. Um,
Yeah.
so, it was like they were expecting more from like NLP and customer segmentation and like clustering algorithms and some
Mhm.
advanced parts as well.
Mhm.
So what I had, I actually didn't had much knowledge about like clustering algorithms or even the NLP or even customer segmentation till then. But
Mhm.
anyways, there are so many open sources to learn and make your project in under 2 days or 3 days, which is like an
Mhm.
average time frame which is given to you for an hiring challenge, right?
Mhm.
So what I did, I actually successfully made a project, and just to like give a suggestion to all, you must be like gathering information from the open source to complete your project. But it is very important to add some 2 or 3 important insights which you find out while building your project, right?
Right. So
Because it is
that's
very important.
yeah.
They'll definitely ask what were the like very different approach you got through, what different
Yes.
insights you got from those data. Apart from like, if you can just explore in the open source, you'll get one project itself built. You can't copy and just go on submitting that. You have to go through it, learn everything about it. But yeah, my
Yes.
learnings from it was that whatever algorithms, like suppose I've used
Mhm.
k-means. Okay, so
Yeah.
what it was like, I have never used k-means till then. So
Yeah.
interviews were questions were like what k is for k-means, what
Mhm.
exactly the scores you achieved,
Right.
what are those scores, what are
Right.
the importance of it. So
Right.
those are like very important things which I got to learn.
Exactly.
Second thing is it was about customer segmentation. So
Mhm.
definitely you're going to get much more than you finally building. If you build
Mhm.
rather after some time, you definitely are going to get one or two, maybe more insights from again from that set of data again, right?
Right.
So that is one thing. Like basics is very important as much as I have learned. And like
Yes.
being in a data science interview and one in a data analytics interview, it is also very important how you visualize your data, how you explain your
Yes.
insights from that sort of visualizations. It is very, very
Yes.
important to annotate
Yes.
that, right?
Yes. So you are right to the point in that sense, right? So whenever
Right.
we interview guys for the different roles, right? At least for the, let's say, very uh, starting roles, right? Let's say associate data scientist role. What is expected from that role in general is to have the solid basics, right? So in general, company would understand that you don't have the company like industry exposure, right? But you have worked on few projects which are related to, let's say, k-means, or which are related to some supervised model, right, which you have built. Now what that company can only do is like think about that, right? So eventually that company has only your resume and you are sitting in front of them. Now what would they want to do from here? They would just want to check, okay, are your basics solid? One thing. So one basic check they'll always do is, are your basics solid? Okay, they'll probably ask you very simple questions and then take up the level. Okay, once they are set, okay, this guy has decent basics, they'll come to the resume. Your resume is very critical and one of the most important things, right? Obviously, when you are going in an interview, so each and every word which you write in the resume can be taken up and put back in front of you, right? So if you have written, let's say, k-means, okay, now I am expecting that you have worked on k-means and you will know everything of it, right? You will have that insight, or you will have the understanding completely that what k-means means, what k means here, right? How does k-means work and why k-means you have used? What output did you get from here? Were there any other different methodologies you would have used probably here, right? So I would generally expect you guys to know that and uh, uh, be able to answer that question. So it's just think of the interview as a simulation, right? You guys can probably do that interviews with each other also as well, that where you can simply take the resume and ask the questions on the resume itself and get uh, basically improve yourself in that way. So that's very critical. Be thorough with your resume. Be thorough with each and everything what you have mentioned there. So yeah.
Right, exactly. And Sumit, one more thing. Like
Mhm.
how transparent should you be with your projects, with your different, like, what I was gonna say, out of the box project which you tried to do, and you mentioned in your resume or on your GitHub when you're actually showing it while the interview is going. Okay, how transparent
Yeah.
should you be while showing all those and telling them, okay, I have done this? How transparent should you be if you're not very
So
sure
what do you
about
mean
it?
by transparent? Acha, if you are not sure about it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, Sumit. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay. So see, if you are not sure about it, ideally I would say it should not go in your resume. Okay, because if something which is so that's something which is on in the progress, right? Otherwise you should ideally explain them and tell them this is something which you are working on currently. Okay, so now the expectation of the interviewer is set in that way, that he knows that this problem statement is something, or this technology, or this piece of algorithm is something which you are working on currently. Okay, and I should not expect um, full extensive knowledge of that thing from you. Okay, so you should call that out if you are putting out something which is something which you are not thorough with. Okay, and you should call that out, that you are still working on that. Okay, but if it's something, let's say you have worked a year back okay, and you have not worked wholeheartedly and you don't understand that problem statement properly, or you don't understand that algorithm properly, but you have still put that out in your Git or the resume, then that can take you down. Okay, so that can work as a very negative point for you, because that interviewer can simply pick that up, right? And he can ask you, and he can completely judge you on that particular question itself. So uh, the same example which I've told, which you have put, let's say k-means, right? So
Mhm.
k-means is there. You have defined put a problem statement there. Now I just randomly picked up the k-means one, right? And I started asking you, but according to you, let's say you are not very thorough with that problem statement. So what will happen is you will try to explain, you will try to basically defend yourself again and again. That interviewer will try to dig you deep even more and will try to understand how much is your understanding if you have worked on something. Then that judgment can go wrong. Okay, so I would ideally suggest you should not put something which you don't know in your resume, and if you know, then only it should go there. And if you are putting, then you should tell that why you will have half knowledge of that, in a way that it's a ongoing it's a thing which you are working on currently. I
Got
hope
it.
that
Thanks, Amit.
answers your question. Yeah.
Right, right. Got it. There are more questions on the chat if you can check from other
Okay,
people.
okay.
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes, Sumit. Suresh here. So I have
yeah.
just I am I'm audible now. Clear?
Mhm. Yeah.
Can you?
Please
Yeah.
go ahead.
So I just have one question. Like for example, I am having 5+ years of experience in IT industry itself, but not in data science, right?
Hmm.
And right now I'm going through the master program. Right?
Okay.
So from interview point of view, what will be like? I'd like to know that like what would be the suggestion from your side for me as a experienced candidate in some other field?
Okay. So now you
So
want to transition to basically data science field, right?
yeah, correct.
Okay. So see, Suresh, I would suggest here that again, very basic thing, have your basics solid, okay, in terms of uh, what are all the technicalities of the data science, right? Have the good projects on your resume, okay, and you should be basically better than others. So I'll tell you why I'm saying that. Okay, why? So see, you already have 5-6 years of experience in IT. Okay, so now when a company will try to hire you, okay, you may not be a very cheap resource for them in a way, right? So they will not be able to hire you for less amount maybe, right? Because you already have a let's say salary in place, and you are expecting probably a hike on that, right? So to do that, you'll have to justify that, right? Uh, to justify that, you'll have to be better than others. So basics has to be like, you will have to be very good at the basics, make them strong. Again, be thorough with your resume. Okay, show the projects that you have worked on. Okay, do your research before you get into an interview. Okay, so every interview has a different format, and every even the data science interviews across will have different formats and different expectations, right? For few companies, data science means someone who can deal with simple, let's say, data mining or data wrangling. For some companies, it's NLP, and for some company, it's supervised. For some company, it's different, right? So everyone has different expectations. Be very clear what that company is asking. Do your complete research, extensive research, understand what that try to google the questions if that's a big company and you can get some support from somewhere. Try to connect people who are working probably in that company if it's a big company, right? uh, Try to get more and more knowledge. Be basically up in the game and be ahead in the game. Okay, and just yeah, be basically confident about the things that you are telling. So I would basically suggest you that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Hi,
Could you,
Sumit.
can you able to
Yeah,
hear me?
yeah, I can.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
thank you. It's a good session actually. A lot of experience. Say I have around IT
Thanks.
experience of 30 years. I do hire a lot of team members and everything.
Yeah.
what I expect from the candidate. Once upon a time, hirers were looking for the knowledge from the candidate. Afterward, the trend has become, now they started not only the knowledge, experience also they expect from the candidate to be on the higher side and everything. Now the present trend is they expect wisdom also from the candidate actually. Okay, so as you rightly said, that candidates should not go prepared only with the knowledge and what the experience they have. They should go beyond that preparation and then be ready to face the hirer is my sincere information sharing. Thank you very much.
Hi, Sumit.
Hello. Hey, sorry guys, my internet basically went down. So, Muru, you were saying something. Can you please
Yeah.
come again?
See, from higher perspective, say I have around 30 years of experience.
Yeah.
I have small MSME. I used to recruit
Yeah.
people. Initially, if you see the first,
Yeah.
the expectation of hirer is whether you have the knowledge on the topic and everything. After
Right.
the trend has moved towards, no, I don't want only knowledge. I also want experience, skill on that
Correct.
thing. Now what happened, the present trend is they not only expect the skill and experience, insight, that is wisdom of the topic also they require actually. Do you have it or not? Okay, so what I request the candidate is to be prepared with all these three. Okay, for the wisdom,
Hello.
as you rightly said, Google is the best source actually to gain the wisdom of the seniors, various conferences that is taking place, get some wisdom.
Right.
And don't expect
Right.
or don't always think that I have to write my resume, only I have a experience on that actually. You can segregate
Exactly.
your profile in such a way that these are all the areas where I am having skill set and experience. These are all the
Yeah.
areas where I have the knowledge. Given an opportunity, I can demonstrate my capabilities.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
don't sometimes
Yes.
what happen, I see candidate mix up with their knowledge and experience and everything. That's why they get into trouble. Okay, when the interviewer puts the question on the knowledge
Yeah.
side, he's getting broken actually.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Exactly. That's a great point, Muru. That's a great point. Yeah.
Thank you
That's a
for,
great point. Thanks
yeah,
for
thank
sharing
you,
this.
sir, for your suggestion. Yeah, thank you. Valuable information.
Hi, Sumit. Uh,
Yeah.
when you say that do some more projects before joining, because I'm also a same
Mhm.
experience from IT background from past 5.5 years, and I'm looking for transition. So where we can do the projects, I know
Mhm.
in one of the ways the Kaggle. Is there any other platform where we can
Yes.
create projects? And
So I think Analytics Vidya is also a good platform where you can go through good problem statements, right? There are a lot of challenges which are happening across where you guys can join, right? So it's see when I say about get the understanding of the project, it's not only about a data science or a modeling problem. Okay, it's not just a machine learning problem. Okay, try to understand in a way or try to take more help in a way where you would want to understand that what more does a data science work on, right? So modeling is one thing. Probably working on machine learning problem is one thing. NLP is another thing, right? Being good with the descriptive analytics is also very important, right? So you would probably want to focus few projects on descriptive analytics side also. You would want to focus your few projects on inference analytics and few on predictive analytics also, right? So try to plan it out in such a way that you are trying to cover those things, okay, end to end, and you have decent knowledge at all the places where that you are not broken anywhere, right? Because these things are tightly coupled. Okay, even when you are appearing for a predictive analytics role, you are expected to know the descriptive analysis, right? You are expected to know that you have the capability to understand that. So try to cover your projects in such a way that you are getting a decent coverage of understanding. Uh, Definitely, Kaggle is one way of doing it. Analytics Vidya is another way of doing it. There's another. There are few more. I think multiple blogs and multiple places where you can go ahead and look for the problem statements which generally company deals with and how do they solve it. So I think that will help you in getting more perspective around things.
Thank you very much.
Hi Sumit, Bhavishya this side.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. Yeah, hi.
Yeah,
First
please
of
go
all, I am also from the very same college, Triple IT Allahabad, 2016
Okay.
batch. Yeah. So
Okay.
I just need to ask you something like I have started my own startup post college. Okay, but I didn't do well, so I thought of transitioning into data because I was knowing a little bit like about advanced Excel. I was working on that throughout my startup. Okay, so I wanted to transit into the data science role, but like I feel that seeing my resume, like there is not too much shortlisting which happens. Okay, since I don't have any experience with a big company, I have passed out, like it has been 4 years after my college, and I have been at the very same stage. So I think
Okay.
they have not. So any suggestion for me that what should I do to get shortlisting and all? Any suggestion?
Okay. Yeah. So, Bhavish, I think pretty much like I would say session. So I think the only exception what you have is like let's say you are working for your own startup, right? So now what I think in your case, what you can do is you can structure your experience in such a way. So I'm pretty sure that when you were also working for a startups, you must have like worked on data and you would have had few problem statements there as well, right? So what I would
Right.
suggest you here is that considering your experience also, right? So let's say for 4 years you have worked for your
Okay.
startup and it was in some particular field, right? Try to structure your
Right.
problems. Try to think what all you have worked on, right? The data problems, and also try to basically
Okay.
maybe go back and solve that problem with the learnings that you have had from this program, right? So let's say there would have been a problem or some targeting on some users that you would have done randomly maybe, right? Before you didn't know any of the methodologies, but now you know the methodologies, right? You can go ahead and solve that problem again, okay, from probably the same data or the same way, and try to derive the insights. So now when you talk to the interviewers about that experience that you have done in a startup, right? You will make your experience more relevant to the interviewer, right? Because you will be telling him what more you have done using the data science even when you were running the company, right? So interviewer will feel basically more connected in that way, that okay, this guy has even, let's say, not done 100% on data science, but he knows the data science and he have used those methodologies and technologies, and now he's trying to get there, right? So I think that will probably help you in your
Help me
very
with it.
specific case.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is that like my startup was into packaging. Okay, so I was very much into the
Okay.
food. I wanted to start something into the food industry, but I started basically into the packaging, basically the food packaging. So I don't have anything, any data set or anything regarding the food packaging industry. I can have data for the food industry, but not into the packaging industry. That is the problem which I am facing right now. Okay.
Okay.
So I am only doing
Okay.
the basic project like credit delinquency, prediction, classification, and a few problems. I just put it down into my resume, and but it is not helping actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would basically, yeah, I mean, yeah. Sorry, you were saying something.
Yeah. So like later things would be like I am not able to like uh, uh, evaluate myself in the interview, like when even I am not getting shortlisted. Like I am getting shortlisted for the business analyst position with Barclays and all. Okay, but not
Yeah.
for data science position at all. So I am giving those interviews, but I wanted to go into the data science position. Like I actually wanted to justify the coding, like which triple IT actually uh, uh, have the name of. Like coding is the best thing in triple IT Allahabad, and I have missed that out during my college years. But I wanted to like go into that field and justify my degree again. So that's
But
what.
Can I say
I would,
something?
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, very good and interesting insight by Bhavishya. This is basically a transition. Our course name itself is Transition to Data Science.
Right.
And there is a multiple transitions happening. For example, graduation to entrepreneurship, from entrepreneurship to job, and from job
Right.
to again entrepreneurship. Because now
Right.
when you will be entering into the job market after your startup,
Mhm.
now jobs are not as they were earlier. When you were
Right.
fresh out of the college, you were looked for your knowledge. Now people are not giving weightage to your knowledge. More or less, they will be giving weightage to what you have learned from life, from your knowledge and the experience during your startup. If you bundle this, probably you can get a break in MSME rather than the big organizations. Once you prove your mettle in MSME, which will be pretty handy for you to prove, then you can build the next phase of your career. So I will suggest to have little low profile with MSME sector, present there how you can contribute, demonstrate it for 1 to 2 years, and then take the next jump. Meanwhile, you upgrade your skills and everything. That is perfect. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's very relevant point. So he's actually onto the point. So when you look at the big companies, right, they would probably not shortlist you for the data science profiles, or they would want to come in you at a data analyst profile. But you can basically connect to various startups. There are a lot of startups who are even the freshers in the field, right? They would just want you to have that understanding and that level of good coding, and they will want to definitely take you. And even you have done such a very targeted and very awesome course around data science. So anyone who would basically looking for uh, uh, data science, right, to join the team, they would definitely want to uh, connect you and see where do you stand. So yeah, I mean that's a win-win for both of you guys. Like you will want get to work in the data science, and they will also get a great data scientist in the same way. So you should probably
Uh,
connect to such startups.
Hi, Sumit. So,
Yeah.
just relating to the problems what Bhavishi is facing, I'm actually
Hmm.
trying to write an article with one of my research I've been doing for like maybe 20 past days. This is what I
Okay.
actually found in terms of like why you are not getting shortlisted, why your resume not getting noticed. I actually went through it. So Bhavish is actually carrying some experience with some startup ideas like that mental abilities, right? But even like
Correct.
many people with the same sort of what you can say, the knowledge, the experience are actually not getting shortlisted. See, I am actually a
Hmm.
fresher. I've just recently graduated with an MCA degree. Okay, and I have
Okay.
just after that I have tried to transition into data science. So as much
Hmm.
talking about experience, I hold none apart from an internship experience. So what I am doing to
Right.
getting more shortlisted, to getting more into notice by the companies or startups, one thing I found
Yeah.
is how you are actually searching. If you're not, definitely you're not applying through campus placements, you're not in the college, not anymore, maybe 90% of it, and you're actually trying to find yourself getting shortlisted. So what in India actually what we are doing, we are just like exploring the creamy layer, the topmost creamy layer of the job market and nothing else. People are actually just
Right.
setting some basic preferences on Naukri.com or some other job portals, which are actually very much known to people. That is the topmost layer of the job market. And through LinkedIn, which is not exactly for a job search portal. What I actually found, as set some multiple preferences, multiple job portals which people are actually not very aware of. There are Angel
Hmm.
List, there are like many more, like hundreds.
Yes. Yes.
And startups are not actually going to Naukri.com or LinkedIn as well.
Yes.
And if
Correct.
they are actually going to LinkedIn also, they're not getting into the what we can say, like they're not so much optimized to be noticed by everyone.
Exactly.
Even when their preferences and their ideas and their experiences and knowledge, if they
Yes.
match, even they are not getting like they're not matching with each
Right.
other.
Right.
So I've been suggesting a lot of freshers like me who are like
Mm-hmm.
just BTech pass outs like 2020, and this has been a hard year also for them as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been like they're like always I've been getting calls from my fellow colleagues and all, how to get shortlisted, because I've been getting shortlisted as a fresher, which experienced people are not getting. So I thought, okay, I don't hold much of projects, I don't hold much of experience, but definitely if I apply for a 10 companies, definitely with matching with my sort of skills and experience they're asking, I'm getting shortlisted by at least 4 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
This is, I guess, is a very high ratio of getting shortlisted if you're applying in 10 companies,
Yeah.
especially in while you're transitioning into data science. So this
Right.
is what I want to suggest all of the people right here. I'm actually trying to write an article on it,
Mm-hmm.
a blog on it. But for the people here, I would suggest please invest some time on exploring more of the job portals, more on setting your preferences, giving some more keywords, tags, and hashtags, and whatever if possible. You are going to like, because so maybe one thing, if you definitely might not be noticing, you're not searching for a job definitely, but people who are searching, they might relate. See, I'm a fresher, okay, with 0 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
But when I set those preferences, many of us, almost all of us with that sort of experiences are getting job suggestions with 5 or 6 years needed or 7 to 8 years needed.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting
Right.
that. We
Right.
didn't set those preferences, but we are getting
Right.
there. That is
Right.
something working on the internet, like it's a very powerful thing, and definitely
Right.
not preferring our preferences as set. So we
Right.
have to dig deep, set our preferences, and make it more powerful to get noticed.
Right.
I have been doing some research. It's definitely depends on individuals like me, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe other people are also getting. So
Yeah.
this is one of the suggestions to all of the guys here. This is
That's
very,
a
very
that's a
important to
great
get shortlisted.
Yeah, that's a great point, Chitranjan. What you should, I think I would recommend you doing is you should help your peers. So you would have already done research, right? Where you would have sort of figured out few portals which are really important for freshers, right? To get
Right.
on. So you can probably share quickly if you have those links. You can probably share here in chat, or if you guys have any group, right, where you can share it internally. You should definitely help others to uh, get at those groups. So like what I understand, like from few of the groups, in general, I think LinkedIn is fine. Then you have IMJobs probably, which gives you a few exposure. Then there is Cut Short, there is Insta Hire. I think there is Top Hire also. So you guys should ideally go through these portals as well. Why I'm suggesting that is because Naukri, you are to the point that Naukri is something where probably most startups are not searching for talent, right? So there are altogether different portals where these startups are searching, and you have to be there. So yeah, do your thorough research on that, and be available on those portals for the companies, and be proactive, I would say, in reaching out to people on LinkedIn. Okay, that works a
Right.
lot, man. So
Right. Exactly.
let's say you figured out something, right? So let's say you know about some startup who have probably recently raised funding and doing great work in data science, right? So just go it over the LinkedIn, go to the page. You will definitely see their HR, CEOs, or someone who is working in data science. Connect to them. There's no harm in connecting. Okay, reach out to them. Put out your messages. Put out your uh, ask them for help. Okay, you would want to basically do these sort of projects, and you feel that you will be able to contribute in some sort of projects that that company is working on, right? So try to think it in this terms always, guys. I'll basically give this pointer for you. So whenever you are reaching out to a company or someone in a company or an executive in a company, don't put a very generalized mail or don't put a very generalized message. That gets completely ignored. Okay, what you should try to do is you should try to research about the company first. Let's say I want to apply at Simple. Okay, go ahead and try to research about the company, what that company is doing. Okay, how is data science job look at Simple? Okay, what a data scientist will work on at Simple. Okay, once you have that understanding, now write down that how would you want to contribute to that job. Okay, and then try to pitch to someone who has posted the job, or who is working at that company, or who is hiring for that company. Okay, so that seems like that. So if I see that message, I can clearly see that this guy has clearly put an effort, right? He has done his research, he has come up with that effort here. So that takes your I would say, like, throw rate to 10 times more, that where someone will want to consider it really if there is an opportunity. So you guys should take that additional step and do that. I would recommend on that.
Sumit,
Right.
Murugan this side.
Sorry.
Murugan this side. Can you able to hear me?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
Another interesting set of people who want to transition from the software development, the administration, some kind of a non-data science professional role to the professional role. When they come for the interview and everything, okay, they show their interest. Please remember, there is a difference between intent, interest, and passion. That also we see from the profile. You may be interested in the data science. After sometimes you will also throw it and go away actually. Are you really
Exactly.
passionate in data science, everything? We read something and then get the thing. You see,
Right.
that company is taking some risk. You don't have experience, but you have a passion. Okay, I'm
Exactly.
ready to take you. At the same time, you should be ready to compromise on something actually. You can't
Yeah.
expect the 20 years of experience as a salary and the day one of the data science experience actually.
Exactly.
Okay? You have to ready to compromise also to show your passion, really value to the organization and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, for that also candidate should be prepared. Yes, I am
Yes.
taking the transition. Company is taking a kind of a risk on me. Without the experience, they are giving me an opportunity and everything. I should also compromise on something. Yes, this is my take home and everything. For next 6 months, till my passion is proved, I'm ready to take. Look,
Yeah.
that or some comfort or everything. That's what the mutual understanding, both of them will get benefit. For
Exactly.
you also, this might be a standing platform. From here, you
Yeah.
may go. That is why I used to say, if you work hard in the present company, you're sure to get promoted in the next company. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great point. And showing intent in the right way is very important, right? I mean, you can go ahead and message a lot of people and tell that you are very interested in job, but that might not convert, right? You'll have to do your own research. You'll have to do the research about the job and tell that person that how you will gonna contribute to that job, how you will make their team better, right? So that's a very targeted message, and that has a lot more chances of conversion. So yeah, try to do that thing. Try to be on more relevant platforms, I would recommend. Okay. Like paying people for help. I see like a lot of people are helpful, a lot of people reply back, and probably some don't, but never lose your patience on that. Okay. Uh, Always try to basically uh, pass those challenges and try to uh, reach to a point where you are uh, at least in a place where you are at a data science role and you are able to justify what you have learned and you are doing. So yeah, I would just recommend that. So yeah, I mean, if you guys have any questions, I'll take up probably one more question here.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, Suresh.
Actually, yeah, I have one question for Chittaranjan actually, which you are talking about the job search portals, right? Few minutes
Yeah.
back, right? So, is Chittaranjan is there?
Yeah, I'm here. Please
Yeah,
tell.
Chittaranjan. Yeah. Suresh here. So actually, the thing is that like what you mentioned about the job search portals, that was a really great point. Uh, I like that. And the thing, but the thing is like what from my few of my friends I heard like they told me about the name of few three four like search portals, and they said these are fakes. Like actually, fake means like they are sometimes they are asking for the money, and then sometimes like they are giving the positions like something else actually. They are not the one which you are expecting from, and then
Right.
that is kind of like hurdle actually. Unnecessarily they are calling so many times, and for those See, always the positions are like some different position which you are not at all interested in.
Right, right, right.
So my question to you is as per your research, could you please, like, if possible, could you please tell us a few of them so which you feel better, like they are giving us the appropriate position opening which you are looking for, and like that kind of stuff.
See, I have one or two points to give your answer. See, first of all, I was fully involved in LinkedIn while I started searching for jobs. And I can definitely tell you that I would have applied more than 300 jobs on LinkedIn in less than 3 months. And what percentage of I'm being getting, like I'm being noticed, will be less than 5%. So that is not at all affecting my profile in a positive manner at all. Second thing, if you're visiting portals like Naukri.com or something very casual, very much available to public and providing a lot of opportunities in very, very different fields, what I found is that Naukri.com and similar job portals are actually more for a spam. Okay, people are actually contacting you over Naukri.com. You might be getting noticed. You might not be getting noticed in other effective job portals like AngelList or CutShot. You will be getting suggestions with your preferences. But on Naukri.com, you're going to get a lot of spam for different fields just relating to only one of the skills you mentioned. You mentioned 15 skills. And just because matching one of your skills, like just programming. In C, you might have mentioned C in your resume or on your skill set, but that definitely is not going to not going to add up with your data science role anymore now. Definitely with your programming, yes, not in data science, definitely. But that with that sort of skill, many people are actually running fake, not to be fake, like what you can say, irrelevant programs, irrelevant trainings, which they are actually providing, and by charging some amount of money. So those are spams which they are definitely going to contact you over your Naukri portal, over your email, or over your phone, mainly over your phone. I have got some calls and I have definitely rejected every one of. I've written one article also on the LinkedIn, if you can check my profile as well, on the hype of data science. And you can find, but you were asking about relevant job portals. So I'll tell you, as Sumit also suggested, cutshot.io is one of the good ones. AngelList is very good in terms you are transitioning into data science. I would say visit AngelList. A lot of startups in India which are actually launched in 1 or 2 years or 3 years or maybe 5 years previously, they're actually visiting AngelList, and it is a very, very good portal to like find out startups and even the experience like older companies as well. Those are good, which actually are working in the modern ways, not like I would definitely not suggest you Naukri.com because it definitely offers you a lot of spam. Definitely not. But cutshot.io, AngelList, if you visit these two, you're going to get some more. InstaHire is one of it. Definitely good. You can visit all those. And what I mentioned before, preferences and tags. These are very important. As much as you explore, as much as you dig deep in it, you're going to get a lot of good suggestions, and you're not going to get more spams in these job portals. Definitely. I hope that answers.
Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you, Suresh.
Sumit, one more experience, Murugan, this side. I think one more experience, my personal experience I like to share is, see, these kind of Naukri.com site and everything, please, you have to understand their business model and how they work for their client actually. Suppose what happened, for every profile Naukri gives, I give 250 rupees actually. Okay, so what happened? Their role is to give as many as possible because every profile 250 rupees. That is what they structure. A lot of profiles and everything according to the keywords, what they search, they will ask you to put it in the profile actually. Whenever I get today for one post, I get 500 application actually. I can't call all the 500 applicant and then spend my time actually. The first thing as a hirer I go through is I can clearly figure it out who has written which candidate has written the profile by himself or by the consultant actually. I segregate that first thing. And then if the candidate could not able to write about by himself, how he is going to come and going to deliver in my organization?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Okay, so
Yeah.
don't blindly go by what the consultant gives you the profile and everything. Okay, you have to modify it up according to your interest and the passion, everything. Don't blindly bring the profile what the consultant has made for you. He might have charged you 2,000 rupees, 3,000 rupees. Because how do we identify? He will put an attractive border, colorful box, keywords, everything. That clearly shows that this is not prepared by the candidate. It is prepared by the consultant. Consultant is not coming for the interview. As a candidate, you are coming actually. So you should able to know what you are written every word, and at 10 minutes at least the word what you are written in the profile can you able to talk. That is what we differentiate it and then call for the candidate. That is why most of the candidate feel I had applied it up 300 places. No one was calling for the interview because we clearly segregate. This is the profile written by the consultant. This is the profile written by the candidate. There will be a lot of grammar mistake. Okay, spelling mistake. Okay, doesn't matter actually. Write it down by yourself, your profile. Then only you stand by that, not by
Right,
somebody
exactly.
else, and then you can't stand before the interviewer actually. This is also for the freshers. I like to share the. Thank you.
Right, Murugan, that was really a right point. Guys can like add up to my points as well. This is very important. Yes.
Yeah.
And please remember, for the past 10 years, all the colleges, I won't say tier 1, tier 2, I had visited more than 25 engineering colleges. We lost the math skill and English skill. Why? Because of the BPO concept. Okay, we have been made the candidate not to focus on the mathematics. You focus on the communication skill, you'll get hired into the BPOs and everything. Today, BPO job got automated. Okay, math skill is a must for data science. Go to the NPTEL site. Okay, do their data sciences courses and everything, which is free, done by all the IIT professors, everything. Build your math skill actually. With the concept alone, you can't win over data science actually. Because at present, data science area is not getting automated. After 10 years, this field also will get automated. Automated of data science is only the machine learning and artificial intelligence, which will take long time to come into the commercial. Okay, focus on the math skill and English skill. Not the communication. Please remember, communication skill is different and your English skill is different. Take for example, Joe Biden. For the 10 years for his speech, who prepares? An Indian. An Indian is the person behind every speech of Joe Biden. Okay, that's also advice for the freshers actually. Thank you.
That's a great point. So definitely a data scientist has to be at least good in maths. At least the basic statistics and logic of hypothesis testing. How does A/B testing work? How do you basically determine what is significance levels, confidence levels? So these has to be good. So you should basically cover at least basics to intermediate level of statistics. So yeah, cool. Thanks guys for attending this. Uh, I hope this was helpful for you guys, and you would have got few pointers from here. So it was great connecting to you. Thanks for this. Yeah.
Thank you, Sumit. Thanks for a wonderful session.
Thanks, great time.
Hello.
Wonderful session.
Hello.
Thank you, Sumit. Nice.
Yeah, Sumit Ramanand here. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Sumit. It was very great session.
Thanks, Sumit. We'll keep in touch.